watch everybody else. And just take a look at how people are standing. Who looks confident? Who looks a little tentative? How do you feel you look? What are you projecting? And just take a sense. Now, of course, you're really thinking about it. I'm not having you stand up in a meeting and talk, and other things may start happening at that point. But think about all of these different things. Now, let's check some of the things. Are you planted right on the ground with your feet about 6 inches apart? Because if you're standing like this, with your legs crossed, or you're swaying, that's going to change how I look if I'm just standing there and I'm not really standing with good posture. If your weight on the balls of your feet, you're less inclined to rock. And remember some of this, because this is also going to help you with nervousness. All right, if your weight is balanced, you're not just going to sit there rocking. And how many people, when they talk, they're just moving so much because they're nervous and they just can't stand still. Relax your shoulders. So if I'm standing there like this, I look a little tense, right? But if the shoulders are relaxed, that's going to be better. If I'm like this, I don't seem very confident leaning forward. Right? If I'm like this, I seem a little too rigid, right? And maybe a little tense. Think about the hips squared with the shoulder, and this is something that a lot of people don't think about. What I mean is, if I were going to talk to you like this, that doesn't look as powerful. Like if I'm talking to this side of the room, it's fine. And then I go to talk here, if I go like this, I'm not giving you my full focus. If I turn like this and I'm very open to you, it's going to be much more inviting. And I'm going to look much more confident because I'm planted more. So think about that. Even if you're sitting, if you just turn your head in a meeting to somebody, that's not going to be as good as turning your body. And of course, these aren't swivel chairs, but in some boardrooms, if they have swivel chairs, those are things to think about. The only problem with those swivel chairs is that some people sit in the meetings and so you have to be careful about that. The chin parallel to the ground. What do I mean by that? You know, if I talk to you like this the whole time, that's going to communicate something very different than if I talk to you like this, all right? Or if I talk to you like this. So what are you seeing when I'm talking this way? What's your sense? Any sense?
That you're talking down.
Overly? That I may be talking down.
Overly confident?
Maybe I'm overly confident. Maybe I think I'm so much better than everybody up here. All right? And what about if I'm talking like this?
It's kind of coy.
Coy? Right. Who mastered that posture?
Princess Diana.
Exactly. Exactly. And I always wondered if she was coached to do that. Because when you think of it, of all the royalty, she was the most accepted. And so she never looked down, but by looking up, she became more connected to the regular people. And I always wondered if that was a strategy they deliberately did, but clearly she conveyed that. She was more coy, but more likable. Now again, you have to know when to use those postures, because if you're in a very powerful position, it can become very, very helpful. If you're not in a powerful position, it could be detrimental that you're doing that, because nobody's going to take you seriously. She could afford to do that.